Yo, what is going on, homies? It's your boy Stump back for another OPTC video, and in today's video, we're gonna have a chat. OPTC, let's talk. With the current climax of the game, I kind of wanted to sort of sit down and sort of just voice my concerns and opinions of the game right now, as things have just been looking more and more dire ever since the 10th anniversary. I'm always a half cup full kind of guy. I'm Mr. Positivity, whatever you want to call me, but lately things just haven't been all that great. And while I sort of ramble on, I got a bunch of red tickets. I'm going to pop some red tickets. I'm going to have a chat about some things and stuff like that as well. So let's get these started as we sort of have a chat away. Now, since the 10th anniversary, things have just sort of started to decline. We've had like literally a legend every single week. The boosted list for both Treasure Map and PKA has become more and more dire. We've had stuff like the "you're a limited pull step," really? We've had things like the damage cap get implemented, artificial difficulty on some of the bigger game modes like Super Boss Kazuna, and things have just been getting harder and harder to get motivated for. On top of that, if you are summoning for like boosted characters, it's actually been harder to take down content with, are you dead set? That this is scripted. This is actually scripted. It's actually been harder to take down content if you have like one of the boosters rather than having like all of the boosters. So I don't think that's a very good place for the game to sit moving forward. And because of this, I honestly don't think I'm going to be doing summons on stuff like Treasure Map banners, Kazuna banners and stuff like that moving forward. My boy Porky put it like really well in the sense that, well, Super Sugos and Anniversary exclusives have become the new Sugo Fest exclusive like level of power. A regular Sugo Fest character has become like a rare recruit, and rare recruits have just become redundant, like completely redundant at all. Like you use them for like that one piece of boosted content, and then they're literally just gone from the game and gone from the meta unless they have like a good support or something like that. So it's a bit of a shame. Obviously, we don't have reoccurring content like Garbs challenges and all these other pieces of content to come back to sort of make these characters more viable in certain areas that isn't the content that we have right in front of us. So for that reason, like, I mean, look, Gacha Addict speaking, so like that, I might slip up here and there, but my goal is going to be to skip stuff like Treasure Map banners, skip stuff like Kazuna banners, any banner that has a legend or a rare recruit or something like that is literally just going to be boosted in that particular like game mode, and that is literally it. I think we're at a point where trying to support the game and support their decisions to make a legend, literally every single treasure map that we have, it's kind of ridiculous. It's getting to the point now that every event doesn't need an exclusive character walled behind that particular banner. Treasure map legends, anniversary exclusive banners, Kazuna banners, all like PvP banners, all of these types of characters, honestly, they shouldn't exist. Like rare recruits, I understand. Throw rare recruits in there, and then like people that really want the characters can dive in. Is this a 75% chance at red? Cool. People who really want the characters can dive in, spend money there, and it's not going to change the power of what the character looks like. It just makes the character harder to pull, and it's just, at that point, it's so money hungry, it's so greedy. The whole 3-part 10.5 anniversary thing is just like a prime example of just weaning the player base and squeezing every last drop out of the whales to try and get the maximum amount of profits out of the people that are spending lots of money. Now, I will admit, I am a culprit. I hate missing exclusive characters. I hate missing stuff like anniversary exclusives, Treasure Map legends, Kazuna legends. Not so much. Like I can skip a Kazuna legend here or there. Shout out to Ybid. PvP legends. Now, I love playing PvP. That's probably the one banner that I would probably maybe cling on to. End of month batches, like end of month batches are dead. Like honestly, no one should be summoning on end of month batches. They'll eventually turn up in the tickets that you're seeing right here, and eventually, by law of big numbers, you will pull them for free. Like that's just like the bylaw. As like PKA, like you don't even use the batch to do like level 300 anyway. You just end up running V1 Brook, which is ridiculous. The fact that damage cap has leaked over into something like PKA is also another point that I just find absolutely ridiculous. Shout out to V1 Brook. He heard us talking about him, and he's like, yo, you rang. The fact that the damage cap has now leaked over into PKA, I actually put out a shorts today where I actually used the new batch of characters to crack 1 trillion damage, which was awesome to see. Like, it was really cool having the echelons of power to do that with the help of Shanks. But the fact of the matter is that it doesn't matter, because even if I am hitting over 5 trillion damage, I'm not going to be able to beat level 280, for example, that has that 5 trillion HP, because the damage cap brings it back to 1.05. Was that like a double law? I know they're different laws, but the damage cap will bring it back to 1.05 trillion damage. So this just needs to change. I know Todd put out a really good video where everyone voiced their concerns, and you can put some dot points together, and hopefully the big dogs up in Bandai will actually see that. Maybe do something about it. Look, we can't force a hand, right? Like, we can only control our actions. We can't control anyone else's. All we can do is hope that the information gets to the right places. But yeah, damage cap right now is probably my biggest grievance in the game. Obviously, like, being able to do big damage numbers and having all of these crazy ass shiny legends that they're throwing down our throats literally one a week, to be able to do a certain amount of damage to then just be capped at 1 trillion anyway just makes absolutely zero sense. So summoning for all these characters, in my eyes, doesn't really seem viable. Doesn't seem like the intelligent thing to do moving forward. And whilst, like, look, I will have FOMO missing out. I will definitely want to summon for characters, even if they aren't the best characters in the game. But that's just because I enjoy playing the game. I enjoy playing with these new characters. I enjoy using them. But when you're throwing so many down our throat, like, financially and economically, it's just not a good move for sustainability of the game. It makes no sense in my opinion. And on top of that, like I said, if you don't pull, for example, this new Stussy that comes out for Treasure Map, if you don't pull the rare recruits alongside Stussy, you're probably going to have a much harder time building for the treasure map with just Stussy, which is absolutely crazy to me. Like, the fact that you need all of the boosted characters to do stuff in the game mode, otherwise the team just ends up being wonky, and most of the time you just end up not using them at all. Like in PKA, that Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, and Jinbei unit, if you had that unit, it was like, cool, it's an extra drop percentage for the final boss. But it was so hard to squeeze that unit onto a team that actually functioned well and actually get the most out of your games because of the name of the character, what the character was doing, and not having the captain shift mechanic of the Odin, Kinemon, Dendro to get them out of being a captain. So therefore they were just kind of like, cool, I'm just here, removing bind, doing some like attack boosting, which like 90% of the game does anyway. Or if you ran like Gear 5 Luffy, you then couldn't run this character anyway, and Gear 5 Luffy's so good for PKA right now. So it just, again, massive head scratcher from my point of view, why they want to make these boosted characters so valuable in said content, to then just be made redundant literally like not even 2 weeks later. Like, sure, this new batch of characters might be good for a mini boss and treasure map, but when it comes to mini bosses, we end up speedrunning them anyway. We end up bypassing the mechanics with some of the more powerful Sugo exclusives. And sure, we might have some of these really crazy characters come out for stuff like Treasure Map and stuff like that. But when I look back at Treasure Map, right, besides Nami Karina, there's not a lot of characters that I can sit here and say, yeah, like that character is going to benefit your box so drastically that you need the character. Like Izo Kiku, great support, can work quite well here and there, and is awesome for speed farming stuff like the Treasure Map mini-bosses. But again, isn't a character that is super essential. Carrot Wanda, an amazing character, but again, not a character that is going to like, be such a necessity in your box that you have to have them. Like Onsen Luffy, Hina, like Usopp, Frankie, the list goes on and on and on. And then if we look at Kazuna Legends too, they're in the same vein. Like if you look at Brook, fantastic character, but not a character that you need in your box to be able to do magnificent things in the game. The last super boss though was a bit of an exception to this, where that if you didn't have particular characters, it made it ridiculously cringe to do. But again, that's super boss. That's not exactly like the most pinnacle of content. Like it comes around every 2 months. It is a lot of fun, and obviously it's very disheartening when you can't do that. But that's just a testament to the fact that the game is way too hard. And with artificial difficulty being thrown on top of that, it just gets a little bit ridiculous. So I think making the game a little bit easier for the mid to early game player, making it more digestible for people that can actually like jump into the game. I don't know how they do that in terms of like maybe making like a mode that sort of teaches you about every single debuff. It forces you to use characters that have these abilities. Say, hey, you have to use this here, and then it shows you, like it highlights it, and then like you actually have to physically swipe on it to like bypass that. But there's so many different mechanics in the game that tutorial is going to go for so long that most people are just going to ignore it anyway, which is going to make it really, really hard. So the whole goal of today's video was just kind of how to chat about what I plan on sort of doing moving forward as a player. I'm going to do my best. Like, I skip the end of month batch pretty much every single month, unless it's an anniversary exclusive like right now. But I'm going to do my best to not even touch banners that have discounts, because for myself, if I do the discount, I kind of get into that addict sort of mindset where I want to do more summons. So I feel like for this treasure map that comes out literally today, I'm just not going to touch the banner at all. I'm not going to do the discounts. I'm just going to sit there. I'm just going to let them rock. I'm going to play with no new batch. And when it comes to Super Sugos, anniversary exclusives, they're the characters that I'm definitely going to want to chase, and even look at getting dupes in them around that particular time, or especially like the Super Sugos of the anniversary and the New Year's batch. But that's going to wrap up the video. Thank you so much for listening to my TED Talk. Hopefully you guys head over to Todd's video and you guys have voiced your concerns and all that sort of stuff over there. But if you enjoyed today's video, belt like button, hit the subscribe button, do all that good stuff. Drop a comment of what you guys think of the game right now and what you want to see from the game right now as well. And hopefully, like I said, the big dog in Bandai will see it there. Thank you all for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Let's